What is going on, Cryptoverse? How's everyone doing today? So I'm gonna wait till we got some people on the live stream. I got some pretty exciting news. Looks like you're getting this final standoff between the bulls and the bears. As far as it goes for the market lows. What's going on, Facebook, guys? Wave, click like, so I know who all's watching. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna update BTC. I'm gonna update the short squeeze, the second leg of the short squeeze, as we saw shorts pile in again. And I'm also gonna update some altcoins. I'm gonna cover all our signals, not all our signals, but update our signals. What's going on, Mike? On YouTube, Crypto Love, what's up? Awesome. So you guys know the drill. We're gonna start diving in. I'm gonna wait another minute or two till we get everyone. Yeah, I wasn't feeling really good yesterday. I'm kind of getting over it today, which is good. I'm feeling much better than I did. J to the T. What's going on? Facebook's popping off. Facebook chat. Guys, go ahead and click like before we dive in. I'm pretty excited, right? It looks like you got some of these sell walls up ahead, but the bulls have been relentless. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hop into the BTC USD chart. Let's go check out the intraday action. We had a rising wedge. We had a bearish divergence. We had quite a bit of, everything looked like we were going to pull back. But what's really interesting is that fact that we're not pulling back, right? BTC is not pulling back. We had started to form this wedge in a sense, and we didn't quite pull back. This is from my you're like, what are these circles, what are these bubbles, what's this dumb money? It's still that analysis I did where smart money versus dumb money shorting the market. There's a link to that in the video description if you want to see that analysis afterwards, or once I'm done, after the video is done. So what we saw happen at the last low with 5,800, we saw shorts go back up. We saw a lot of selling pressure, a selling climax, which resulted into a short squeeze. And the short squeeze caused BTC price to go up and in short positions to get closed down up until NX put a massive buy wall where he bought over 8,000 BTC spot and cash. And a lot of the shorts shorted him, and what happened was this next leg up and shorts going back up to the dumb money shorting range, right? So we know this historically. Every time shorts kind of FOMO in and they short in this super dumb money range or super dumb shorts come into the market, we get a short squeeze. We saw this on several selling climaxes. We saw this in April. We saw this just 13 days ago when I published, hey, we're going to go long at 60.40 on TradingView. I put out a bunch of Medium articles saying this was coming. There's links to all that in the video description. Anyways, so shorts got all the way back up once again. And the reason BTC hasn't pulled back, even though we see a lot of these bearish divergences on the chart. So if we were to add like an RSI and an MFI, right, so we've got, let me get rid of this. Just go with some standard oscillators. So our RSI was looking divergent on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour, on the 2 hour. So all the time frames were looking like bearish divergence. We saw price try to make a rising wedge, right? But then bulls are not giving up. Why? Because they see this rise in shorts, and then we know that longs aren't longing on margin. Margin longs is this green line that I've got on my chart. They're buying spot. They're buying with cash. You've got cash money coming in against borrowed money, right? And what's happened at Canfield, I've been essentially working behind the scenes quite a bit together, trying to see what's next for BTC. He had identified some key fractals that I'm going to go into. So our next resistance, where this standoff's going to get real, it's going to, on fib levels, pull back to that 61.8 retracement. All right, so here we go up to 61.8 from this swing high to swing low, 61.8. come back down, form a new low. And then here we also had another 61.8 retracement. So it's looking like, you know how I like trading the 61.8 on the way up or the 50% on the way up. It's looking like the exact same thing on the way down. Essentially, short the 61.8, come back down, long, short the 61.8, come back down. Well, now we've got a higher low. Not only do we have a higher low, but we had a higher low on a lot more selling pressure, right? On a selling climax. This was our higher low. Look how much selling was happening, especially short selling. And shorts couldn't push the price down. So these people borrowed money to short BTC, and we're seeing it happen again. But the bulls aren't giving in. That's why I'm titling this video the final standoff, because if this plays out in bulls' favor, this should really set us in a new uptrend. We might get some turbulence and volatility with like ETF news and stuff, but I'm still of the firm belief that we've somewhat bottomed for the year, right? I don't think we're gonna see a lower low. I don't, not yet. Go and check on you guys' comments. Good to be here. What's going on, Max Rochon from Canada? You guys have any questions on BTC before I go into alts and cover some of our latest updates? Real quick announcement: if you guys are not in our trading community, if you're not getting our trade ideas, if you're not margin longing with us, we're doing like a 20% discount on 6-month and 1-year memberships. The coupon code is short squeeze V2. We try to offer this earlier at the beginning of the short squeeze. Now we get another squeeze, so you get 20% off while BTC is still cheap. Anyways, if you're on Facebook, click link to the description. I'm not done. I'm just getting started. So I'm gonna dive into alts since you guys don't have any questions, and I'm gonna start with some updates. Right, we put out quite a few signals. Now I'm gonna start with IOST. We got a cup and handle. I haven't checked on it today. We still have this cup and handle formation, looking for a breakout. So I'm still seeing somewhat of a continuation here. We haven't seen the breakout happen yet, but classic cup, classic handle. Divergences, do we have any? I'm getting switch my template, add an RSI. Go to the 1 day. The 1 day chart with like a 51 RSI has been critical for identifying which way momentum's going. It's like IOST still at a 47. I'd give it a few days. Stochastics coiling and the highs. Volume starting to come back in. It's looking decent. Hasn't really started moving. Our Monero call. Monero did amazing past few days, right? RSI is just now getting to that overbought range. This token's up some 30 to 40% since we put out the trade call on it. I did say alt season was coming, right? And we're starting to see that. So Monero's up some 30%. I do foresee XMR going into a full-blown reversal, right? So usually when I long Monero, one of the latter long signals I had, and it was a full-blown analysis. It's on our old website, and it was on 11.2, and I said it was going to be a 130-day hold for like 200%. And we saw more than that in USD, right? In USD gains, and we saw some 130% in BTC gains. But keep in mind, 11.2 Bitcoin was like 7K, and by the time it was done in like December, right? It was still a really profitable trade. So like profit taking here, 7K to 17K BTC. This is one of our really good trades on the reversal for a longer term hold. And this is what I plan on doing with Monero. It's not financial advice. It's just what I plan on doing. Nothing I say is financial advice. I'll cover Ether, Litecoin, Burns Dog. Let me go through what I wanted to update. VET signal dependent, and I believe we're still going up on VET. Let's go to 240. All right, so the VET call has done fairly well. We saw the pennant break out, right? And then came back down for a retest. We longed the retest. It's currently shaping back up, right? There's somewhat of a double top. Is it divergent? It's a little divergent. What's going on in shorter time frames? Similar highs, little lower RSI high. I've got some higher targets for VET. Let's see how far up it is from the trade call. It's only up 22% in BTC terms. USD terms, it's up higher because BTC is gaining. I want to see what this formation continues to do. It's not quite a cup and handle. But then our targets, we're just running standard fib extensions here, and what we're gonna do is go swing high, swing low, and our next target on VET is gonna be 308, 310 satoshis. ICX has been one of our bigger gainers. I'm going to cover ICX. All right, looks like ICX icon is setting up in another pennant, right? We're seeing the market go bullish. A lot of alts are making gains. And I think it was on the 17th of August I put out the publication saying, hey, there's the altcoin massacre happened. It's probably safe to get back into alts. And we had initially pulled out of alts when ETF rumors started playing around before altcoin massacre. So we didn't know about the massacre, but just the ETF news was a good enough shakeout for us to tie in our stops. And gladly we got back in the down here. It's up to 27%. I want to see it get back up to the first target at 13,240 for a continuation. It's looking like it wants to do a continuation pattern. This is looking like somewhat of a micro bull flag on the intraday. It's still too soon right now. If I wanted to tailor my stop up just to protect profits, I'd be at that like below this fractal low. Do you think alt analysis on alts is a little constricted because of its bind and what BTC is doing? I don't think alts are constricted. I think alts are moving fluidly. I think alts are doing fairly well right now. I think alts are great right now, right? I think it's altcoin season up until either BTC goes on a surge, right? Or we get an ETF, unless it's like that top 10 ETF, or it's an ETF that includes more coins than BTC. I think it's altcoin season until further notice. All right, next up, MFT, right? We signaled this at the 84 satoshis. MFT is one of our gainers right now. This token is doing fairly well. Where are we on fib targets? Well, we're past target 1, right? We're past target 1. At this point, I would like tailor my stop loss up to like the 121, 122. Next target overhead is going to be the 159. I do foresee this token making some solid gains. It can really, like, fundamentally, it's close to IOST, it's close to ZIL, and it's an interesting project. The plus hasn't even had a run. It's new, it's on Binance, and it's on Bittrex. This one's going to get one of those Binance, I hate using that word, but like a Binance pump. Just like we see a lot of like ZIL, ONT. I believe we're going to see some kind of like similar price action on MFT. And it's just my belief. It's not financial advice, right? So All right, QLC. QLC's been another gainer this all season. I had moved my stop up to 887. Just down here, this range yesterday, in yesterday's update. Our target on QLC is also another Fib target. What I'm doing is I'm doing trailing stops as we see these the market make bigger and bigger moves. The next target is gonna be 1204. Let's go ahead and do a price label. All right, so sorry, 1201, 1200 range, 1200 Satoshis is going to be our next target for QLC. Saya's been a flyer as well. We had a classic up and handle breakout into a bull flag, and now we're seeing another bull flag. You guys remember IOST, the first token I highlighted today? We had the exact same setup. We had the cup, the handle, and then a flag. The flag hadn't started yet, so now we're seeing a bull flag happen. Komodo was another, and Komodo is looking solid, right? We had a pennant entry. They got stopped out, got back in at pennant pricing. So anytime I get stopped out of one of these calls, I set an alert back where I had bought in. So if price ends up going back up and this was just a shakeout, we want to capitalize on that big move because we're in there to catch this move. And since we bought the pennant, price up 25%, that was like overnight. And here's what Komodo does, right? It did this to us last time. It stopped us out before it went on a raging run. So last all season when I put out the call on Komodo, it had done this, and then it did a massive capitulation run. But then some 4 days later, it really took off. So I wouldn't be surprised if Komodo does this one more time. But some of the technicals are looking a little different. We're even over here where we see price pull up over the 50-day moving average, come back down on what looks like a daily 3 black crows, right? Almost like 4 of them for the big black up. So Komodo is going to do a capitulation run before the big move up, but then the big moves up on Komodo are over like 1,000%. I guess BTC value or so. It's 295% in a matter of days. So I'm looking for a big leg up from Komodo. We might get a capitulation run first. What about the latest from last night? I had put up Storm and Strat. I don't think it started quite moving just yet. We're not gonna talk about those early ones. All right, what do we got? I'm gonna start taking altcoin suggestions. I gotta go back up through the chat. If you guys have alts for me, go ahead and drop them in. If you like this video so far, click like, smash that like button. All right, so y'all guys want me to cover Ether and Litecoin. So I'm gonna start with ETH BTC. Let's see what ETH is doing relative to BTC, right? Okay, BTC still stronger, right away. Would I rather be in BTC or ETH right now? If I'm holding spot, I'm gonna be in BTC. Why? We're still not seeing a bottom formation on ETH BTC. We might be seeing somewhat of a fractal, right? We're starting to see that like rounding action on the chart. It's not the type of rounding I like to see. Last 2 alt runs, ETH was stronger than BTC. Currently, it is not. We do know that the CBOE, I think CBOE or CME are talking about Ethereum futures, so we might get a capitulation run, a big move up before the big short like we saw last year on BTC. ETH USD did we find bottom? Well, I just covered what's going to happen on ETH BTC. ETH USD is looking, what is it looking like? What's our RSI doing? RSI is tapering off. It's still low on the daily. ADX hasn't quite rounded down yet. Stochastic is up, so we might see ETH move up just because the entire market cap's moving up. There is a little bit of, it's too young to call an ascending triangle or an inverse head and shoulders, but if this thing clears the neckline on a USD chart, right, so it's not my favorite looking neckline. So you got like a shoulder, head, shoulder. Once this clears the neckline, once we get a close above 296, it should start moving up in USD value, right? Not necessarily BTC value, because it's got to outgrow BTC, and BTC is moving up. You guys on Facebook with RDD and Wings, I will get to you as soon as I cover. I think I got Litecoin, Ether Classic Nano, and then I'll get to you guys. These are just taken from YouTube. So you guys wanted, man, it's quite a bit of alts. Litecoin, LTC. All right, it's got a little more momentum. We've got a 52 daily RSI. I really like that. That's a good RSI level when we start getting on that 1 day chart. We haven't seen buy volume come in and pick it back up. We haven't seen a whole lot of interest as we've seen at previous lows, right? So our OBV, our on balance volume, isn't quite looking great. We might see an era that looks like this, and it seems to want to do that. So if you look at our DMI, directional movement index, it's really looking very similar, where we have this crossover of DI positive, DI negative. So we might see a short leg up for a sideways consolidation, move down before we get a big move up. We might, right? So this is not my favorite coin to trade. All right, going over RDD. RDD was really picking up in volume last night, right? This thing and Dogecoin, they like each other. They run, they cycle together. So I'm gonna go to Doji. Nope. Compare. I've got big hopes for this one for nothing except for like altcoin market cycle reasons. We're seeing this big bear flag on the daily. We're seeing it tends to cycle with Dogecoin, right? Doge is plotted in white behind my RDD chart. This doesn't really do it justice. Let's zoom out. In terms of percent gains in market cycles, these two like to move with each other. It looks like RDD is lagging this season, but it's got a bull flag above the 50-day MA. I expect it to move up. Nano coming back to 2,900, so 29,000. Nano. All right, so let's go to 240. Gambi had just talked about Nano. What are we seeing? We are seeing a consolidation pattern, right? And this, well, this right here is looking like a pennant. Well, it pulled down a little, but what's going on? We're seeing somewhat of a rejection. Is Nano 2,900? What, RJ? Are you talking like a BNB level? So I'm seeing a little bit of a bear div on Nano on the 4 hour. Sometimes these charts just keep going, right? We saw a pullback. I think we're seeing a bullish div on the midline, we're not. We're just seeing like a double bottom. Let's go to the BTC chart. I think Nano's still got some momentum up until it fails this pennant, right? We might get a breakdown, a shakeout. You understand, market makers don't want to make it such a smooth leg up, especially in a rally. So we might see like a capitulation sell-off before the next leg up. So like that's why we tailor our stops up and we run like trailing stops as we go. All right, going over ADA. ADA is still lacking momentum right now. What's it looking like on the daily? Let's go to Bitrix. Right, this thing's lacking momentum. Like it just is. So no update on ADA. MCO's looking great. MCO, I was looking at MCO. I've been wanting to put out a signal for it. It's looking great, right? Momentum starting to pick up. RSI just like turned up sharply. It's at 44, and this is what MCO has been doing, right? It's just making these really big moves up. And even throughout the bear market, it had two massive legs up. I foresee this one going back up to the top of the range. So let's look at MCO as a range trade right now, right? This is how I'm trading this one. This is the bottom of our range, and this is the midline of our range, right? So you got several touches there. This is the upper edge of our range, and then bam. So you know, MCO's. So if I am in an MCO, right? I picked some up. My stop is below the previous low, and these are my targets. Thank you, Montana. Saya coin. I covered Saya earlier. Wings. I'm gonna cover wings for Sandra. Guys, if I'm covering your altcoin, hit that like button, right? Share this video with a friend. It all helps. So wings, daily RSI is at 48. Not the most promising, right? I like that 51, but it's looking decent. What's volume doing? Volume's at 45 BTC. That is not very helpful. Is there a falling wedge or a retest or anything? I haven't held wings in a very long time. I don't think I've had a reason to. Not technical, not fundamental. So it's past that initial downtrend, right? It's somewhat doing what's called a round bottom, right? When markets start doing this rounding action, it could essentially signify a round bottom, right? When markets start coming in with this curve, but I'm not a big fan of just a curve. I want to see more happen on the chart. I want to see volume. What's going on other exchanges? Yeah, not a fan right now. Alright guys, I've been flying through these tokens. We got about 30 more minutes, so ask me some questions. Alts, BTC, whoa, market talk, market dominance. Let's look at market dominance, right? See how long this altcoin rally can last. And that's gonna be crucial. Just got a ping on, what is Blender saying? All right, so let's look at market cap. We're back to 240 billion. That's great, but what's going on with alts, right? What did I say last month when we got out of alts before getting back in, or even before last month, like July? I said we're gonna see alts come back down to 17% dominance, see if they find support there, and if they do, then it's alt season. And our last area of resistance was at 24. So we're looking at that 17% dominance at 24% dominance in alts. And when we're looking at that, it's going to be others. So we had March 18th, whenever we had last short squeeze in that 30-day relief rally, right? They bottomed out at 1726. And then August 15th, 1796. Right, so that's gonna be our altcoin support level as far as dominance. That's gonna be like a good time to start looking for alt picks and diversifying into alts and essentially going alt shopping. That's what we were looking for before alt shopping once again. Resistance wise, we've got a 24% to look out to. It's an overhead. We're currently at 1922, so I see a room for growth. Unless like catalyst comes in for BTC, and if we go on a BTC surge, you guys know that altcoins like to bleed. I don't know how long you've been in the market, but I know that when BTC surges, most altcoins tend to bleed and lag behind in terms of gaining BTC values. That's why we like to trim our stop losses on the way up. But currently I don't see much of a hesitation at this like 19% range. We haven't seen any head turns at that 19%, so that's looking good. What do you think about the weekly BTC chart and the CCI, the commodities index? That is a great question, Sandra. All right, let's go to the weekly chart. I'm gonna look at it. So one thing I had said is we want to see, I started with the BTC chart. I started my analysis with the BTC chart. Here we're looking at it on BitMEX. All right, don't freeze. I usually start my analysis with the BTC chart. One thing we're looking forward to is what's going to happen at 7,500 and the short squeeze. Shorts once again stacked up. All this rise in shorts, I think it was like a 45 to 50%, and short positions were all opened at 7,300. It's like a 50%, 51%. Hey, 51% crew, shout out to you, Todd. So sorry. Anyway, so 51% hike in shorts was at 7,300. A big buyer came in on Bitfinex, bought like 8,000 BTC in cash. Is before we go into the weekly chart, right? We've got the fractal at the 61.8 fib retracement of the downtrend. So let's go back to this chart right here where we've got that fractal. Let's go to the daily. So we've seen several bounces off the 61.8. That seems to be the play, where we get a pullback, go up to 61.8, short again, pullback, 61.8, short again. And here we're getting really close to that 61.8 again. So on the weekly, I'd like to see a close above that. It's not even about the weekly. I want to see what happens at that 7,500, which is 61.8 is, and I want to see if bulls can squeeze the bears again, right? If you get another squeeze, we're going to be in really good shape. That's really going to impact the weekly chart, especially when I'm trading margin. These are moves I'm looking for. As for the CCI, because you asked about it, all right, I got it. Let's do a CCI. How many indicators do I have on here? So CCI is another like a momentum oscillator, right? We're seeing another what looks like a failure swing. It's headed up nicely. Once again, I'm still bullish on BTC. I want to see what happens at 7,500. And yes, Raj, there is an ascending triangle inside the rising wedge. I covered BTC to start with. Currently taking altcoin questions. All right, T3 CCI. T3 average crossover with strategy alerts. Anyways, I'm not here to learn what indicators you use. We trade at this new selling climax, right? And this is what really matters. There are two things that are going to affect this market: bulls and bears. And indicators, overlays, all that jazz. It's either edge or noise. We've got our edge down. We long this to 60-40, and we're still long. We hedge the tops. So, all right, TRX. All right, Tron. So Tron can be heavily shorted, right? For good reason. We get a selling climax. Not quite a secondary test. Now we got a spring. Okay, we might get a smaller rally. I believe it's still an accumulation phase, and I'm not a hodler, right? I like trading momentum. I went over some of our picks for right now and updated them. So essentially TRX, would I long it? I wouldn't long it just yet. Not on the daily. Let me go to the intraday. Remove all the drawing tools. So we see a breakout out of a range, right? So if you're going to range trade this, you got 2 touches, support, 1 touch resistance, bottom of the range, top of the range, bottom of the range. You can even tailor this higher. That's when you get into trouble, right? Because we got the smaller range right here. I'm currently not touching TRX. There's too many better picks in the market. Neo's looking good, right? It looks so. First of all, we got a lot of interest at this price, right? I mean, looking at volume. People really like Neo at this price point. Let's look at Neo USD. Is it off to 24 bucks? Great. Okay, so that's a good start for Neo. The daily or the intraday, we're seeing somewhat of a cup and a handle going into a breakout. It's finding support at previous resistances, right? What else do we know about Neo? So if you look at the range, it's had a breakout, came up, came back down, retested resistance, turned into support, now currently breaking out. What do we know about Neo is that people really like shorting this token. And why do I say that? Why do I say people really like shorting Neo? Because it ranged, right? This is what Neo does. It range trades indefinitely on a USD chart. Last year, I was out of Neo up until it like broke 50 bucks. Just gets when it had momentum. All right. So what do I expect from Neo? I expect it to range. I'm not sure. I haven't like tapped into the fundamentals. And where's our next fib resistance? Swing high, swing low, looking at it, right? We either find support here, turns into resistance, comes back down, and retest that $20 range. I'm going to analyze Neo on on the USD chart. On BTC, it looks like it's got some momentum and some bear div on the 4-hour, right? We're seeing 3 higher highs, 3 lower lows on RSI, volumes there, interest there. Let me go to a 1-day. Momentum's in favor on the 1-day. I can see Neo popping possibly to that 470,000 Satoshi range. All right, I'm gonna cover EOS and then one more token. EOS is looking nice. We got a bull flag right below the 50-day moving average. We've got RSI is at above 50, which is healthy. Let's go to 240. Some divergences here. Personally, I'm you know, I don't hold any EOS. I don't hold any. A little bit of a bear div, but once again, momentum's in favor currently. Do you see any formations? There was a bear div pulled back, right? There we go. Rising wedge on the bear div. We saw a pullback. RSI did it. Do we see another divergence here? Not quite. We do see strength at the top of the range. So we're in a previous range. We had the breakout, go into a rising wedge on divergence. EOS pulls back. Is there another support resistance level we can identify? Well, it sure is. And we're looking right at it. Real interesting candle on the 4-hour. This is a dragonfly doji. These are typically a reversal candle, so this thing's supposed to go back up. Fib levels. Where's our last swing high? My God, this token got crushed. And that's why I don't hold it. Fib levels, it still got some recovery in the longer term scope. I mean, it's got to get back to that 99,000 range to start like a healthy recovery. All right, Bcash. Man, we longed Bcash. Started with 10x leverage. I'm currently at 20x leverage, 200 something percent. And we got somewhat of a flag, right? So this is what I think Bcash is doing. I'm gonna end it on Bcash. I'm not a fan of Bcash. I think Bcash is a scam coin. I only trade it when the opportunity is there, and I said trade it, right? I don't hodl it. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the founders. I think it's a money grab, right? If you're a trader and you know when to long it and you know when to short it, well, it's a money grab. When did we long Bcash? At the wedge. Every time we long Bcash is at the wedge, right? I mean, this thing over and over and over. It's the same play every time. I've got some pretty high targets for Bcash. Everyone was asking me yesterday, like, hey, it's taking a breather. What do we do? And we just tightened our stops, right? We got stops in the profits. But essentially every time it wedges, it goes into a breakout. It's all about timing the entry right, and then we see sustainable gains for a few days. I think it's going to go through one of these market cycles where we do see a Bcash surge, especially since it's been gaining, gained like 15% in one day. When BTC gained like 4 or so. So it's gonna make a big move up and then it's gonna pull back down. I don't think it's a sustainable coin. Anyways, y'all, thank you all for tuning in. Click the like button if you liked my analysis. If you're on Facebook, click the link to join our Discord. If you guys want to get in on some of our trading ideas, signals, margin trades, Actually join our Discord, take a look at our To The Moon channel, see how everyone's doing. And thanks Crypto Love. I wasn't feeling good at all yesterday. I got my energies back today. Everything's good. Anyways, join our Discord, get into the community. Even like the free portion of the Discord is really active. You're gonna get interaction from all sorts of members, like veteran members, guys that have been kicking butt, and our VIPs. So I'll see you all on Discord. And if you got questions, just ping me on there. Thank you for joining. See you soon.